your testimony and especially the difficult times we have right now with the divisions in the country that I think are causing such disruptions in many ways. The FAA data that we saw demonstrated 5,033 unruly passenger incidents this year. 227 of these resulted in enforcement cases being initiated. In August, you wrote to all U.S. airport officials stating that many of these passengers, many unruly passengers, were interviewed by local police and released without criminal charges of any kind. And you wrote, when this occurs, we miss a key opportunity to hold unruly passengers accountable. Can you describe how clearly incidents are reported by FAA to DOJ and law enforcement? And how could that process maybe be improved uh, to spur more enforcement actions and make people aware that this is a serious issue?
Well, thank you for the question, Senator. And, this has been something that has been, I've been laser focused on for really the entire year this year. Unruly passenger incidents are nothing new, but we have seen a several-fold increase in them. As you know, we have been successful at driving the rates down, but we've still got a ways to go. And it's very much a team effort. And what we're focused on now is closing the seams between how airlines and airports and law enforcement and the federal government handle these issues. And so we've made a good bit of progress, but we've got more to go. And we have referred a number of cases that we give the investigative packages to DOJ. But there are instances where, at some airports, where there will be a federal law enforcement response. This actually happened with one event that was in the news a couple of weeks ago. So I think we're making good progress, but there's certainly more to be done. And it really does require the cooperation of all those private sector stakeholders, including the airports, as well as the various aspects of the federal government, FAA, TSA, and DOJ, and we'll continue to stay focused on that.
Right, absolutely. And that there was one there where the unruly passenger last week broke a flight attendant's nose, and they had to divert the flight into Denver. Obviously, those issues that are so egregious, there's got to be a better way that, as we do hold that violent passenger accountable, we get it into the media, so the people hear that this isn't something that's kind of just a passing news item, but they understand that is how serious it is.
Well, Senator, I've been on social media. I've been on news reports. My face is at every airport in the country. I think not something that I wouldn't necessarily want to be remembered for. We're pulling out the stops. We have done memes. We've done everything that we can. I've even been on TMZ, which I never thought I would be, to make sure that the public is aware of the importance of following crew instructions. The crews are there for passenger safety, and this is about a behavior that's not appropriate in an aviation environment, and we need to get it under control.
Absolutely. And I think obviously COVID has played a big role in this. I think the fact that it's so hard to find employees and the TSA is still operating with significant less than a full force, so that the waits are very long. I fly out of Denver all the time, but I flew out of Atlanta earlier this week, and it was equally long lines. And I think that's frustrating people. So when they get in the plane, and I realize that you don't control TSA. Let me switch and just quickly, in February, a Boeing 777 made an emergency landing in Denver because the Pratt & Whitney engine had caught fire mid-flight. Debris from the engine scattered across northern metro Denver. Preliminary NTSB report faulted an engine blade for causing the engine fire. In May, FAA required strengthening of blades in order to make sure we prevent this in the future. Do you have an FAA update on the investigation, or what implementation of safety measures you would, or are being suggested?
Yes, Senator. We are taking several actions here. We are increasing the inspection frequency of the fan blades. And we've also recently approved a new inspection technology, which is more effective in detecting internal cracks in these in these titanium blades. So that ultrasonic fan blade inspection process will now be the primary process. It's much more effective. We will still use it in combination with what had been used before, the thermal acoustic imaging, which had been used before. Our chief scientist for propulsion and the U.S. Air Force Research Lab collaborated on this, and so we think that'll be very beneficial. In
Great.
conjunction with that, we should not have debris falling off of an airplane. That's not acceptable. So we are, in our certification, we've actually aligned our engine and airframe certification within the same division to make sure that we're more tightly coordinated. And we are requiring the airplane manufacturers to strengthen the cowling and inlet design. And that work will have to be done before those airplanes can take to the skies again.
Right. Mr. Dickson, you've got one of the toughest jobs in the country right now, and I appreciate you taking some time out to share the facts of these issues and what's being done with all of us. I yield back to the chair.
Thank you. We have Senator Sinema, then Senator